Kayako is a terrifying creature that has made cultures around the world tremble with fear. Yet, some say Mako, who possessed superpowers even before her birth, is the true reigning king of the Japanese ghost world. This 2016 film, Mako vs. Kayako, is undoubtedly a horror fan's delight, as it pits Japan's top female ghosts against each other in an epic battle to determine who is the real ghost sacrifice sisters. The story starts with two female college students working on a rescue kit intended for an optical disc. These students bought a second-hand video camera from a salvage store. When Yuri handed the camera to Natsumi, she noticed an extra strand of long, dark hair sticking out from the center of her hand. Yuri was shocked but assumed the store owner hadn't thoroughly cleaned the machine and remarked they weren't buying just any old camera. It was rumored that anyone who watched the cursed tape would die, but the store clerk had already watched the tape 2 days prior and was still alive and well. So, he naively believed it was just a rumor and took the tape. When Yuri and Natsumi got home and found the tape, Natsumi felt uneasy and told Yuri to throw it away. But Yuri was curious and wanted to watch it. As they were about to watch, Yuri got a message from a friend and missed the video, while Natsumi watched it all. After Yuri sent the message, the video ended, and Yuri wanted to replay it. Natsumi tried to stop him, recognizing it as a cursed tape. Yuri didn't believe it, as the rumor said Mako would call after watching, but no one had called yet. She quickly grabbed her cell phone, noticing there was no caller ID. It reminded her of a horror story, and fear gripped her so tightly that she couldn't bring herself to answer. However, Yuri was unfazed and boldly pressed the call button. Instantly, a piercing noise echoed through the room, causing the lights to flicker between bright and dim. Terrified, she screamed loudly. Unexpectedly, Mako vanished, and everything returned to normal. Yet, Natsumi couldn't stop crying, fully aware that Mako's ghost haunted her. Determined to uncover the tape's origin, the two girls ventured to the salvage market. There, they inquired with the boss, who revealed that the tape recorder and its bag had been acquired from an old man's house. This man had died in a disturbingly tragic manner. Last night, when a staff member said he had watched the tape 2 days ago, and then he killed himself in the store that night. A good device is indispensable for such a wonderful drama. The two girls couldn't help but accept a cruelty that they had to endure. What they watched last night was a video that Mako had cursed. Moreover, according to the previous board, it appeared that Mako had also started to falter, and the time required to kill a man, which had once been 7 days, had now reduced to just 2. Natsumi was so weak he could barely stand, as Kenji Yuri quickly reminded him that things might not be so dire after all. He suddenly recalled there was a professor at the school named Senfan Shinichi, who was well-versed in the latest urban legends. Most crucially, he was also the instructor of Mako's curse and the only one to have ever discovered a method of exorcism. Furthermore, Shinichi was a huge admirer of Mako's and had even gone so far as to publicly promote a videotape of Mako's curse. After deciding on their course of action, the two of them went to Shinichi's office to seek a remedy for the curse. However, they were unaware that Shinichi wanted to view the tape himself. When the peculiar footage on the tape concluded and the office phone rang, Shinichi eagerly picked up and inquired if the caller was truly Mako, though he wasn't sure if it was. Is it true? Instead of feeling afraid, she was incredibly excited to finally hear the voice she had been dreaming of, as she had at last discovered the legendary curse tape. She then took a CD-ROM from the bookshelf and carefully copied all the contents of the tape. Yuri found the solution to break the curse in the book she had authored. When Yuri believed that Natsumi's curse had been lifted, the teacher reminded her that this method couldn't save Natsumi because the videotape Yuri had just given her was unrelated to Natsumi. Realizing she had missed her chance, Natsumi couldn't hold back her tears. With only 1.5 days remaining before Makoto's death, the teacher suddenly suggested that Makoto's curse might be broken through exorcism, and he knew of a few exorcisms. Teacher. The three of them arrived at the master's place rather quickly, and as soon as they placed their hands on the video bag, they could feel the intense and strong grudge inside it. The master was eager to exorcise them immediately, but he was refused by the master himself, who wanted to see Mako personally. He was willing to risk being killed to fulfill his wish. The master had no other choice but to accede to his death wish. Then he carefully placed the tape, which was full of incantations, on the altar and began to cast a scorpion spell on Natsumi, who had already been a victim of a murderous attack. After that, he placed the videotape, filled with incantations, on the altar and began to cast the Kusakari spell on Natsumi. A little while later, Sadako possessed Natsumi, but what the master didn't foresee was that Sadako would never allow anyone to break the curse. There was no room for negotiation, as Sadako forced 2 of the master's disciples to kill themselves, and then it was the master's turn. The master was aware that he wouldn't survive to see the end of the night, so he warned the others that only Shizo could deal with Shinzen. But then, Shinyan-sensei rushed up to him. He had just opened the door of the house to rescue them, unaware that the sole reason this guy was there was to meet his idol, even at the risk of his own life. Mako showed no mercy for such brainwashed fans, taking control of the priest's head and killing them both instantly. When Natsumi awoke, only she and Yuri remained in the room. Seeing the scene, Natsumi cried, lamenting that Yuri's insistence on watching the tape had led to so many deaths. Yuri, filled with remorse, handed the tape to Natsumi, and then took it from her. According to Mako's curse, Natsumi had already passed the curse to Yuri. Yuri then went to a room with a TV, watched the tape, and answered a call from Mako. At that moment, a stranger arrived with a little girl, seized the tape, and took it away, along with her. Yuri suspects that the person is Jinzong, the monk's associate. When he inquires if Xiamei has been freed from the curse, Jinzong appears clueless. Shusu explains to Yuri that the curse transfer method is merely a rumor, and Yuri's actions won't impact Xiamei, only his own curse. Upon hearing this, Xiamei fainted from fear. At that moment, she was unaware that since Jinzong was willing to be there, he wouldn't allow Makoto to kill him. Jinzong, having resigned and unable to confront Makoto, intended to find a worthy opponent for him. Naturally, the best choice was the master who had never failed in killing without distinction. Jinzong instructed Yuri and Xiamei to remain at home and await news. Eventually, Jinzong took Shusu to Zuobo's residence, and just as they opened the door, when Jinzo and Shusu hurry back, they toss a floating stone into the building, which scares away the evildoer, yet it doesn't affect the master of the house. As they depart from the haunted mansion, they encounter Reika, a female university student passing by. Realizing she might be the master's next target, Jinzo cautions her to avoid the building. That evening, while Linghwa's family was having dinner, they discussed a schoolboy who had gone missing in recent days. Linghwa was worried about his whereabouts, yet she couldn't think of any method to find him. Just as Linghwa was about to head upstairs for a rest, she unexpectedly found herself transported across time and space to the eerie mansion across the street, where the missing boy stood right in front of her. However, as the boy slowly turned his head, a hand suddenly slapped Linghwa on the back, terrifying her, causing her to panic and frantically search for him. When they saw their daughter leaving the house at night, they turned and realized she had already returned home. Reika thought it was an illusion. Meanwhile, Xiamei was tormented by the impending curse, her spirit shattered. She even considered burying everyone in the curse and posted a video of it being tortured by the teacher online. Later, despite regretting deleting the video, many people still watched or downloaded it. Realizing she had harmed many for her own interest, Natsumi felt ashamed. To avoid hurting others, she thought of breaking the curse by killing herself before it arrived. If she didn't die by Sadako's hand, the curse might break. But as she locked the door to kill herself, Sadako appeared. Jinzo and Ju Wook returned. When Reika realized Jayayizi had turned her into a cold corpse, Jinzong deduced that Genzi's advancement of Natsumi had accelerated the curse. Jinzong had one night to set the trap. Suddenly, Shusu sensed Reika was in danger. Reika planned to rest but noticed a light in a ghostly house across the street. She saw her missing boy through the window. Forgetting about the stolen goods, she grabbed a flashlight and went to the haunted house. After searching, she found him in a second-floor closet with a school bag. When she asked him to come home, he didn't move, and his head turned into a handsome head. Linhua was so scared she dropped the flashlight and ran downstairs, not realizing she bumped into her parents, who saw their daughter going out at night. But they never expected the old house where their daughter went was haunted. Linghua's father was dragged by Juinchion's neck due to carelessness. Before they could recover, they saw the family master climbing down. Linghua's mother knew escape was impossible, so she pushed her daughter out. Jinzong Qi's men then appeared at the door. Sadly, they only saved Linhua, but her presence allowed them to exorcise more ghosts. Linhua's presence improved their chances. If Yuri was alone, surviving the battle between Makoto and Kaori would be tough. Now, both were cursed by Kaori and Genko. Watching the videotape at the haunted mansion would curse them both, and to catch their prey, these ghosts would fight and might end up together. After the curse took hold, she was only able to follow Kinzo's instructions. Once she finished watching the tape at the haunted house, Mako appeared. Toshio, who had been attempting to attack them both, grabbed the television, and then Mako climbed out of it. At that moment, an eerie sound echoed from behind the two girls, the sound of Kayako's voice. To capture their prey, the two malevolent ghosts surprisingly began to duel. After a fierce battle where they pulled out each other's hair, Sadako ultimately won, with Kayako entangling Sadako with her hair. When the ghosts ceased fighting, Kenzo dashed into the house, pulled out Sadako's videotape, and threw it in front of Kayako, who unknowingly crushed it. This act infuriated Sadako, leading the ghosts to fight once more. Amid the chaos, Kensei seized the opportunity to lead the two girls to the backyard by the withered well, where she had prepared another trap, ready to seal the two ghosts inside. But in order to lure Sadako and Kayako to the island, someone with both curses must be the bait. Yuri thought that since he was the cause of the curse, he should be the one to end it. So, as Yuri stood at the golden exit, Sadako and Kayako both jumped at him. Both ghosts wanted to kill Yuri first to fulfill their curses. But as they jumped at Yuri, Yuri jumped into the air and sent Sadako and Kayako crashing into each other. In a flash, a river of snow shoots out and a huge force scatters in all directions. Jin Zhang protects Ling Hua and Zhu Su from this force, but Zhu Su, in his grief, remembers to remind Ling Hua to put the lid of Jin Zhang's well on it. But just as they think all is well, the two ghosts, seemingly realizing that they're being exploited, join together at the bottom of the well. Not only did he break the seal, but he also killed Reika and Zhu Xiong. What kind of bloodshed will this powerful king of ghosts, the cursed overlord, cause on the island? I'm Yasser Arafat. See you next time.